right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis Williams. I am the principal here at Hatboro-Horsham High School. I'm also a proud graduate of this high school. So all of our students, teachers, administrators, friends, and family members that are joining us here this morning, welcome on this beautiful spring morning, and thank you for being a part of the 2023 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Before we begin the ceremony, I'd like to start with the salute to our country, with the singing of our national anthem. That'll be performed by our Madrigals group, who today are under the leadership of senior vocalist and choir president, Paige Abramo. After the national anthem, I ask that you please remain standing as they will lead us in the school alma mater. So if you'll join me, please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Now here's to good old Hatboro-Horsham, our praise to her will never lack. To her we pledge our best endeavors, and rally round the red and black. With loyal hearts and firm convictions, we'll sing for her with might and main. Now here's to good old Hatboro-Horsham, come let us echo the glad refrain.
Great job, Bob. I am a little biased when it comes to this, but I'm a firm believer that there is no other high school in the greater Philadelphia area that has voices like we do. So thank you, Paige, and our Madrigals. As we begin this morning, I want to provide just a brief history of this important event. The HH Hall of Fame was formed in 1991 to honor alumni of Hatboro High School, Hatboro-Horsham Senior High School, and members of the school community that served within the school district in some very specific roles. It was designed to recognize outstanding achievement or significant contributions that reaffirm the excellence of the Hatboro-Horsham School District educational experience. Since 1991, we have had 19 induction ceremonies, and we've seen 112 individuals join this high school's Hall of Fame. The criteria for induction requires that a person have graduated from the high school in the district or completed service to our high school in some capacity. After nominations are received, I facilitate a committee of 9 people who review the nominations, research, and dialogue about the career and personal accomplishments before recommending the successful candidates for induction. It's important that I recognize the members of the committee and personally thank them for their efforts and their part in today's event. So when I say your name, if you wouldn't mind waving. Ms. Kathy Haas, Ms. Mary Beth Krevling, Ms. Lori Gallagher-Landis, Ms. Tammy Van Steenberg, Mr. Ed Ott, Mr. Jim Worthington, and Mr. John Kircher. Please join me in a round of applause for those members who have given up their time. It's also important that I quickly thank some individuals who took the pressure off of me today by handling almost all of the details, including correspondence with our inductees, their families, the food, the parting gifts, decorations, and so on. My administrative assistant, Ms. Meredith Weiss, and our administrative assistant for athletics and activities, Ms. Denise Mykrantz, and a number of other support staff members who truly made this happen. My administrative team. Also special thanks to our teachers and students that are in the audience here this morning to celebrate. Today we're inducting a class of 4 individuals who have gone beyond the call of duty in their chosen fields. All inductees walk the halls of Hatboro-Horsham High School, either on Meeting House Road or here on Horsham Road, in one way or another. 3 of them were students. They've participated in many of the same sports, clubs, activities that still exist in this building today, while others are actually responsible for some of the curriculum, the programs, and the club and activities that our students experience as they participate. These individuals have left an indelible footprint in various career fields that include education, military service, law and politics, and business and sports entertainment. There's an obvious connection that's developed by attending or working in the same school. But another common theme among today's inductees is the expertise they have brought to their chosen fields and the things that HH taught them that helped them succeed. We're going to share, as we introduce individuals, just a real brief, real quick slideshow for each of our inductees. As I begin to introduce each inductee, they'll be escorted to the stage with a student who has and will continue to be their guide for the day. Our inductees were asked to take a few minutes to reflect on the importance of HH's impact and some experience that may still resonate with them in their current success. To our students in the audience, it's my hope that their reflective words have an impact on you and whom you might become as you choose your path after Hatboro-Horsham. So without any further ado, we'll now begin with our first celebrated guest. Our first honoree this morning is Mr. Daniel Facito, class of 1993. He's unable to join us this morning as he is in Australia right now on business with the U.S. Navy. Mr. Kuntz, if you wouldn't mind, if you can start the brief PowerPoint with Mr. Facito. As a boy, Dan Facito used to ride his bike to the Willow Grove Naval Air Station to watch the airplanes land, and one day dreamt of becoming a pilot. Little did he know how far those dreams would actually take him. After graduating from Hatboro-Horsham High School in 1993, Dan earned a BS in aerospace engineering from Penn State University in 1998, as well as a master's in space systems from the University of Michigan. He received his commission from Naval Officer Candidate School in 2000 and was a designated Navy pilot by 2002. After graduation, he was assigned to the Sunliner's 18 Fighter Squadron in Norfolk, Virginia, and deployed to Iraq on the aircraft carrier, the USS John F. Kennedy. During his deployment, he flew over 20 combat missions, over 100 hours in an FA-18 fighter. His actions in combat directly saved the lives of multiple U.S. Marines on the ground. Due to his excellent combat record, he was elected and was honored to become the Distinguished U.S. Navy Test Pilot. After completing pilot training, he was instrumental in flying many experimental aircraft and served as the lead test pilot for many different projects. Dan was asked to return to the U.S. Navy Test Pilot School as an instructor. In this role, he taught both American and international students advanced flight techniques. His name sits on plaques alongside other Americans such as John Glenn and Alan Shepard. During his career, he's accumulated over 2,000 flight hours in 48 different aircrafts. His personal decorations are too numerous to count. He continues his high career as a high-ranking U.S. Navy captain to this day. He directly oversees multi-billion-dollar projects for the U.S. Navy and works with high-ranking U.S. government officials in the Pentagon and around the world. He's a distinguished American and U.S. Navy officer. This past February, Captain Facito became the program manager for the Unmanned Carrier Aviation Program. This is responsible for the MQ-25 Stingray, the plane that you saw in the presentation. It is an unmanned aircraft that will provide aerial refueling capability in times of peace and during war. I had an opportunity to communicate with Captain Facito on Tuesday afternoon. While he was unable to be here, he asked me to give students this message. Success comes from the pursuit of your dreams and to never let anyone set limits on what you can achieve. He said, always remember that fortune favors the bold, work hard, believe in yourself, be responsible, treat everyone with dignity and respect. The future is yours. Make it a better place for all. That's your responsibility. And he said, go Hatters. So ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Daniel Facito. Our next inductee is here with us, Mr. Richard A. Luoma, a native of Massachusetts. You can still tell it in his accent. He certainly made his mark here in the greater Philadelphia region. Mr. Luoma came to this area with his family after serving as a math and science teacher and then an assistant principal in Concord, Massachusetts. He and his family moved here to Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, where in 1972, Mr. Luoma was named the very first principal of Keith Valley Middle School when it opened. For those of you that are unaware, the building that is now Simmons Elementary School, at one time, Simmons Elementary School, at one time was Keith Valley Middle School. This level, the middle school level, was a passion for Mr. Luoma. The idea of students entering adolescence, helping young men and women transition to high school was his passion. As the principal of KV in the 70s, he was responsible for running a middle school with open floor plans, team teaching. That was a big educational shift in the 1970s. It's funny that when you look at our high school now, we're returning back to an open environment. We've removed locker pods, we've created a lot of flexible seating areas. And Keith Valley is still teaching teams right now, some 50 years later. In 1987, he moved on to become the assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction. In that role, he helped the district transition to state standards, collaborative learning initiatives, and project-based learning. Mr. Loma gave 29 years of dedicated service in this profession and made a significant impact. That impact is still evident today. Outside of school, his commitment and dedication to serving others is just as important to him. He was a member of the Horsham Rotary for almost 30 years, where he was the president, an avid golfer, was president of the Men's Golf Association, and served on the board of directors at Talmore Country Club. He also served as a key member and leader of the Montgomery County chapter of the Pennsylvania Association of School Retirees. It is my honor and my pleasure to congratulate my colleague, Mr. Richard Luoma, on his induction into the Hatboro-Horsham High School Hall of Fame.
Every time I come to a podium, it's always too high. Wow, Dennis, you made me feel dignified. I thought I was a cocky little whippersnapper that came down from Massachusetts to teach people the King's English. That didn't work. So we opened Keith Valley Middle School in 1972, and I had the honor and a true honor of working with some of the greatest people in a wonderful, wonderful community. I have so many fond memories of this community that it would take forever to explain. Just seeing you, seeing the kids, I love all of you. I love middle school kids. I was principal there. But it was, I had the school board had tremendous support. We had a very challenging school, Keith Valley Middle School. It was an open space concept. No one really understood what it was all about. The entire staff, teachers, cafeteria workers, custodians, everybody worked hard to make that concept work. I will have the rest of my life fond memories of that group. You are privileged to be in the Hatboro-Horsham School District. I felt I was privileged. If I had a message, that I stayed up nights thinking, what message would I give it? I think a lot of our inductees said very similar things. I'll tell you a brief story. You may have heard of Michael Jordan. When he was, I believe, a young basketball player, he didn't make the team. And his mother didn't go in ranting and raving at the coach. You didn't put my kid on a team. What's wrong with you, etc. She sat Michael down and said, work harder. And he went on to be a pretty decent basketball player. I think that would be my message. I never thought I was a great visionary. I worked with tremendous people. I had a great people around me. They made me look good. My job was easy. If I have any message for you young people at all, think about what you want to do. Work harder than the other guy. Don't quibble over time and this and that. Just work hard. Pursue your dream. I think Laurie Gallagher is probably one of the epitome of an educator to me. She started out teaching. She was a wonderful teacher. I think it's your Mrs. Landis. I forget her maiden name. I know her maiden name. She started teaching, went on to be an administrator, decided that wasn't her calling, went back to teaching. She had her dream. She pursued her dream. Do it. And thank you for this tremendous honor. I will cherish it for the rest of my life. Thank you.
I think one of the big questions for Mr. Luoma, now that he's been in this region for so long, are you an Eagles fan officially, or are you still Patriots, or you're an Eagles fan now? Yeah. I guess not. I guess not. Our next inductee, class of 1973, the Honorable Brian Miller. As a wrestler, star athlete here at HH, he was also involved in many clubs and activities. After leaving HH in 1973, he graduated from Temple University and later received degrees from Westminster College and the University of Texas. Mr. Coons, if you wouldn't mind sharing the presentation. Thank you. His accomplishments since leaving HH are significant. He may be one of the most decorated inductees whose profession operates primarily in the U.S. government that we've ever had. He has served as Senior Associate White House Counsel, Inspector General of the United States, Senior Counsel to the Deputy Attorney General, Assistant United States Attorney, Special Counsel on Healthcare Fraud, and Counsel to the United States Attorney. He was a federal prosecutor who litigated civil and criminal cases in federal courts involving terrorism, drug-related conspiracies, and murder. He's received the Attorney General's Distinguished Service Award and the David M. Walker Excellence in Government Performance Award. He has diligently worked under 4 presidents: President George W. Bush, President Barack Obama, President Donald Trump, and President Joe Biden. People who know Mr. Miller will tell you that his experiences are unique. For example, he's represented a federal magistrate judge and the Attorney General in civil litigation. He's also personally issued grand jury subpoenas, signed Inspector General subpoenas, and received testimony from civil investigative demands, something very few, if any, other attorneys have ever done. More recently, we know that the COVID pandemic was devastating to the U.S. economy. Mr. Miller was confirmed by a majority vote of the United States Senate to become the Special Inspector General for Pandemic Recovery, ensuring that $2.2 trillion associated with the CARES Act, part of COVID relief funds, were spent appropriately. This was a government program that was responsible for saving thousands of businesses across the country. 30-plus years of service in the United States government. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the Honorable Brian Miller on his induction into the HH Hall of Fame.
Thank you for that very kind introduction, and I really appreciate it, Dennis, and I wanted to thank the committee for this award. It's an honor that I will cherish, and it is so good to be back here. One reason I wanted to come back was I wanted to make sure that this was not a prank or a mistake, because when I was in high school, I did not succeed in high school at all. In fact, I screwed up high school. So I don't know if any of you have screwed up high school, or maybe some of you are in the process. And maybe you don't even realize it, but I screwed up high school, and nevertheless, you can come back from anything. You can still succeed even if you fail or if things don't go quite right. It's much better and much easier if you take advantage of the opportunities that are being offered to you here at Hatboro-Horsham High School. I wished I had taken advantage of more. Nevertheless, God's been gracious to me and has given me many other opportunities to succeed. I wish more of my former teachers were here. I am grateful for them. They never gave up on me, even though they probably had good reason. Maybe some of them did. But they gave me attention. And Miss Sufer was a teacher that is retired now, and she went out of her way to make me do a term paper, and at the time, I was having none of that. I wanted to go out and hang out with my friends, some of whom are here, and I appreciate that very much. And I resisted her at all times, but eventually she prevailed, and I learned how to do a term paper. So Miss Sufer would be very surprised to learn that I now like doing papers. I like doing research papers. In fact, most of my professional career for the last 3 decades, I've been writing research papers of sorts, mainly legal briefs, which is a kind of research paper, and other documents. So I'm grateful that she didn't give up on me. She even met me in the library and made me sit with her, and she basically wrote my first research paper. Mr. Mong was the Latin teacher here. I'm not even sure he still teaches Latin, but he would be very surprised to learn that I still translate some Latin and ancient Greek. Mr. Herman would be surprised, actually he would not be surprised to know that I still can't do trigonometry, but he worked with me there. And most of all, Coach Wetzel taught me the value of hard work and diligence. I was on the wrestling team, and you never give up because you can always come back, and if you work hard, you can overcome anything. And so I've learned those hard lessons on the wrestling mat and from Coach Wetzel, who personally took an interest in me. Principal Leo Gladnick was very encouraging to me. My first day in high school, back when it was grade 9 through 12, so a group of 9th graders were bused and were waiting to come into the auditorium. It wasn't anywhere as large as this or as nice, but we're in a single line, and some seniors saw an opportunity to bully these young, small kids, so they were going down the line bullying, and they got to me, and I had none of that, and a scuffle ensued, and which I got the better of the senior, frankly, but I was hurried in to see Mr. Gladnick, and if some of you remember him, he's a rather stern-looking man and very serious. And but he took an interest in me throughout my 4 years in high school, and I would receive notes. I'd be in homeroom, and the teacher would say, "You have a note from the principal." And I thought, oh no, what did they catch me? You know, not what did I do, because I did a lot, but what did they catch me doing? And it was an encouraging note. So he took time, and so you teachers, I would encourage you not to write anybody off, but to continue to encourage them in various ways. So I'm thankful for the education I got here at Hatboro-Horsham, and I would encourage all of you students to take advantage of all the opportunities here. I would encourage you teachers to continue to work hard for your students, to encourage them. I had a lot of issues during high school. My mother was essentially a single mother, and we moved from apartment to apartment, and I had a lot of issues going on. And some of you may have similar issues. And I'd encourage the teachers to kind of take an interest in students and encourage them even when, they're not very receptive. I know I wasn't in high school, but you don't know what that student will end up doing. And I've been very fortunate, and I feel as if God has turned things around for me. So if you fail, if you have problems in high school, don't give up. You can come back from anything. Who knows how the Lord will use you and how He will turn your life around. He certainly has turned mine around. And I'm thankful for all these opportunities and for meeting so many wonderful people. I have personally met 4 or 5 presidents, worked for attorneys general, many cabinet members, and argued in many courts on behalf of the Attorney General and the United States. One of the greatest privileges as a federal prosecutor was to stand up in court and say, Brian Miller representing the United States of America. And that was one of the proudest moments in my life, and I got to do that every week as a federal prosecutor. So the Lord's been gracious to me, and who knows what the Lord will do with your lives. And these teachers here would love to work with you, students, and would love to help you through any issues you have, any failures. You can always come back. Never give up, and be diligent, work hard. You have to work hard. It's going to be hard. But who knows where you'll be in 10, 20 years. So I am honored. Thank you to the committee. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for everyone who organized this. I am honored to receive this award and to be a Hatboro-Horsham High School graduate. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Brian Miller. Our final guest may not be a stranger to some of you, especially if you are a professional football fan, an NFL football fan. If you watch Thursday Night Football or NFL Network, the host that you see has HH roots. Colleen Wolfe is a 1993 graduate of HH. There's something kind of big happening in the next 6 days, the NFL draft. So she is not here. She will be on her way, obviously traveling all over. She lives in LA and will be on her way to Kansas City very soon for the draft. But her parents are here to accept. So we're going to have the presentation play, and then I'll come back and do some introductions. Colleen Wolfe, 1993 graduate of HH, has quickly risen as one of the top sports personalities of this decade, hosting shows like Good Morning Football, NFL Game Day Kickoff, and others, and she does so with a flair that actually started here. As a result, like I said, there's a pretty significant event coming up with the NFL draft, and she will be traveling this week in preparation. I had a chance to touch base with her yesterday and a couple other times this week, and she is extremely disappointed she's unable to join us to receive this honor and recognition. However, she did send us a video that she sent last night, and I'll play that for you in a little bit. Colleen was a great student and also a decorated ice skater here in high school before a significant back injury ended her skating career. She was also an extremely talented artist. She was voted most artistic in her senior year. Longtime art teacher here at HH, Miss Gallagher Landis, said that Colleen was one of the most talented high school artists that she'd ever worked with. She was a National Art Honor Society member, and everyone always saw her smiling. Everyone knew Colleen for her great sense of humor, and her personality was contagious. After graduating from HH, she went on to get her degree in communications from Drexel University. She then went on to work at local Philly radio station WIP, Comcast Sportsnet, and Fox 29. In those roles, she did a little bit of everything, serving as a production assistant, associate producer, booking producer, line producer, reporter, host, writer, analyst, photographer, and even editor. She joined the NFL Network in 2014, and the rest is sports dream history. In 2019, she was named to the Big Lead's Best 40 Under 40 Sports Media Talent list. It's not uncommon to see Colleen on TV with some of the biggest stars in our game. However, no matter what, she bleeds green. She's an Eagles fan through and through. You saw it in some of the photos a little earlier. But now when you watch NFL Network or Good Morning NFL, now you'll also know that she bleeds red and black. Please join me in welcoming Colleen's mother and father, Miss Ann Wolfe and Mr. Ed Wolfe, who will be accepting this recognition on their behalf. When they get to stage, I will then play the video that Colleen has for her acceptance.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry I can't be there today. I really tried to make it home for this, but instead my parents are there, so it's honestly an upgrade. They deserve this Hall of Fame honor more than I do, just for dealing with me in high school, but in all seriousness, I'm really excited about this. I assume that it's just like the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so I'm excited to get my gold jacket, or I guess in this case, my red and black jacket. I'm sure my bronze bust is gonna be amazing. Just hoping that you guys get the hair right. That's always an issue with these things. But this has been really cool. I'm really flattered. Thank you so much. I do want to just thank all of my incredible teachers that I had at Hatboro-Horsham, when at the time, all I wanted to do was go to Maple Glen Pizza in the Willow Grove Mall, but I didn't realize the work that they were doing and everything that they did to have such a huge impact on my life. Especially Lori Gallagher, my art teacher there, my OG art teacher, who taught me so much to take risks, to paint a different path than everyone else, and that being afraid to fail is not a reason to avoid trying something. So that's exactly what I've done, and I've learned along the way that nobody really knows what they're doing out here. We're all just kind of winging it and hoping it all works out. So take chances on yourself and see what happens. So again, thank you so much. And Mom, Dad, thanks for being there. Maybe you can raise your hands. My mom hates this attention. My dad loves it. He's a social butterfly. And everybody enjoy the afternoon. Bye.
Well, the only thing I can say is that without Mrs. Wolf here, Colleen wouldn't be here. When I think back on when Colleen went to high school here, Mrs. Gallagher was a driving force, and she started out in art, and she wanted to be an art teacher. And then we started ice skating. Well, she ice skated since she was a little child. But we would get up every morning at 4 o'clock and go to the ice skating rink, and it was colder in the ice skating rink than it was outside sometimes when it was snowing. So we went through that, and then Colleen, I was always amazed when she would figure skate. She would do the twirls or the drills so fast it would look like she was drilling a hole through the ice, and it just amazed me. But she hurt her back, and that kind of put a roadblock on her ice skating career. So then she turned into communications and went from there, worked for WIP and different TV stations around the area. And then she is where she's at today. And there's one common theme I've noticed with all the inductees. It's hard work. It's hard work will get you there. If you have a dream, pursue it, but it's going to take hard work to get there. Colleen does a lot of hard work behind the scenes. You know, you see her on TV and, you know, for an hour or two, but there's a lot of prep work that goes into that. So follow your dreams. If you hit a roadblock, go down another road and be successful. The key to everything is hard work. Thank you all. Thank you.
And she would be so thrilled to be among all the inductees here. I'm thrilled. So thank you for everything. She's going to love it. Great.
This morning, we had the opportunity to recognize 4 very distinct individuals, all with different stories and paths to success. Yet the common bond is either the impact that this high school had on them, the teachers that they encountered, and as the building principal, also as an alumni, I couldn't be happier. To all of our students in attendance, it's my hope that this also sends a message to some of you about what's attainable after you leave HH. To all of our inductees and your families, congratulations. While this isn't the Professional Sports Hall of Fame or the Hollywood Walk of Fame, it is indeed an honor, and you're all deserving. I want to thank you. Thank you for your vision, your leadership. Thank you for your dedication, your commitment. Thank you for your service to this country. Thank you for representing Hatboro-Horsham School District in such fine fashion everywhere you go. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in one final round of applause for all of our inductees. Special thanks to all of our teachers in the audience and all of our students. This will conclude our induction ceremony this morning. I'd ask that all of our inductees please remain here with us. This will be an opportunity for pictures. and then we'll move forward with our luncheon. To all of our students, thank you. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. Hopefully this was beneficial for you. Enjoy the rest of your day. More importantly, have a good weekend. Be safe, be smart, be responsible, be engaged. See you soon.